Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rayo, and today we are continuing our spirit advice series, and we are specifically getting spirit advice from our plant kingdom. I've done this series with the animal kingdom before, and we started with the plant kingdom now. This is going to be chapter 2. So these are timeless readings. You can come back to them at any time you just need some advice about maybe what to do about a situation. It's a way to ask a question and get an answer potentially. So just double check. You can look in the animal videos and just see what calls to you in terms of like the animals that day potentially, or if there's a specific number, you just click on a chapter, click on a card, and there's your advice for the day. Same thing here at the plant kingdom. So we're doing chapter 2 today, and for this video we are using the Herbal healing deck from Baldwin. And there's going to be 8 groups to choose from, 8 different plants to get advice from today. And something to keep in mind for this reading specifically, again, it's timeless. You can come back to it at any time you want, but there is many different ways to connect with these cards. So you're going to see different cards in terms of different types of plants. We have trees, we have herbs, we have flowers, and we have, what's our last one? Roots. So you'll see on these cards these little symbols in the bottom here. So this one's a tree one, obviously. Let's see, this one's a flower. And then this one's going to be the root. Focus. Maybe. Try again. Yeah. Come on. One more time. There we go. That one's our root. And then this one is our herb. So the different types of plants tie in with different directions and different seasons. So your roots are going to be tying in with the winter season and the direction of north. Your herbs are going to connect with spring and the direction of east. Your flowers are going to connect with summer and the direction of south. And then your trees are going to connect with autumn and the direction of west. So keep that all in mind when you're picking groups. We'll go into the cards here face down in a second. So you can just go based purely off of intuition, maybe muscle test or pendulum, whatever way works for you. The cards will be numbered, so you can go based purely off of intuition without seeing the cards. Or you can wait a little bit longer and then you can take a look at the cards face up and see what you're really connecting with in terms of imagery, maybe colors, symbolism, a specific plant you might like. So keep all of that in mind, and I hope you enjoy this reading. Now let's head into the groups. See you there. Hello. So this is the face down portion of this reading. So you can go picking a group based purely off of intuition, muscle testing, whatever maybe is calling to you. So let me show you which card is which here. This is going to be group number 1, group number 2, group number 3, group number 4, and then second row here, group number 5, group number 6, group number 7, and then group number 8 here. So if you want to just look purely face down here, go based off purely intuition. This is going to be your spot here. Take a second, pause the video if you need to look at the card, see which one is calling to you, and then jump to the timestamps down below and go to your group. Otherwise, if you want to see the cards face up here and connect with them that way, go to the next part of the reading here, and I'll see you over there. Okay, so here are our cards face up. So we've got our 8 different little groups here. So we actually have a pretty even distribution for the different types of cards. We have 2 root cards, we have 2 tree cards, 2 flower cards, and then 2 herb cards. So group number 1 over here is willow, and this is interconnection. Here's this card up close. That's group number 1. Group number 2 here is hops, celebration. Okay. Group number 3 is maple, abundance. Group number 4 is coltsfoot, presence. Group number 5 is violet, introspection. Group number 6 is nettle, receiving. Group number 7, wormwood, mystery. And finally, group number 8, golden seal, healing. So as we can see from these cards, they've got they've got eyes. There's lots of pretty colors here. Maybe you're drawn to the keyword. Maybe you're drawn to the eye imagery that you can see in a lot of these different plants here. So take the time, pause the video if you need to. Again, muscle test, pendulum, whatever way, run your hands over the cards on the screen, whatever way works for you in order to feel out which group is yours. Ask your question and then see which group calls to you in order to get advice for today, okay? So again, pause the video if you need to, but otherwise when you are ready, join me in your timestamp down below and I will see you over there. Hello, group number 1, the Willow group, our interconnection group. So, good close-up look at this card here. Immediately, when I'm seeing this card, looking at Willow, I'm thinking of Grandmother Willow from Pocahontas, right? The interconnectedness of nature, the interconnectedness of us to others, to other people, to our loved ones. And with this card here, Grandmother Willow, right, we see her by the river, which makes sense for a willow tree, of course. Well, I think she's by water. Pocahontas rides the river down and then goes probably to like a pond, lake area where Grandmother Willow is at. And with this willow energy, right, Grandmother Willow, she gives Pocahontas advice. She helps her in a mothering way, in a grandmotherly way, showing her in a fun way too, or like making jokes and laughing, and that ancestral energy showing the interconnectedness of us all again, right? So that was the first thing that immediately popped into my mind for this willow energy for interconnection. Willows are a very, very versatile tree that we use in medicine. They have been historically used for pain relief. I think it's something in the bark here specifically that can help bring relief to pain. And what this card specifically is asking us from the Herbal Healing deck here is to look at areas of pain in your life. Whatever the question you may be, whatever advice you're trying to get here, group number 1, with this willow energy. Where are you having those pain points in your life? Where are you feeling pain in your body, pain in your emotions, pain in your relationships? And taking a deeper, closer look at those areas and where you can smooth out some of that pain here, right? It's only by paying attention to that area, the thing that is, pain is showing us something's wrong, right? It might not be the pain itself that is the thing that's wrong. It's a symptom of something deeper, something bigger. And using this willow energy here to connect with self, to connect to your body, connect to others, having that interconnection and exploring that at a deeper level and finding where that pain is and soothing it and bringing relief to it through willow medicine, through that energy of interconnection. Willow trees are very a water plant, like a water tree, right? We even see this kind of water kind of blue color at the bottom. Willows are very generally found by sources of water, by the river, by a lake. And they have that energy where they are connecting to both water and earth at the same time. They are that kind of go-between. They are that, what's the word? Bridge. They are that bridge, that interconnection between the two worlds here. Our emotions being that water energy, water being the depth of our subconscious, that those feelings, that is that water energy, and then bringing it to a grounded, stable place, which is that earth energy here for our tree and for willow energy. I'm feeling a lot of tension in my temple right now, so this could be energy that I need to pay attention to as well, funny enough. But with willow energy, this is asking you to take, a deeper look at your emotional state, your inner being, and finding ways to ground yourself, finding ways to connect with yourself, and maybe, again, bringing things that are subconscious deep down in these roots up, fruiting and into the light, into the earth energy. With willow and this interconnectedness as well, we are looking at the connection to all, connection to self, connection to others, connection to nature, all these different areas of life, right? So it's asking us, if you're maybe asking about a relationship, for example, finding that connection between the two of you, finding that connection between others that you are maybe missing, what you have in common, and how you can weave all these things together, right? The book specifically talks about willows being like willow reeds and things being used for basket weaving, and speaking again to that interconnection, that interconnectedness of things, being able to weave together something, create something beautiful together. And that is a really, really important energy here for our willow energy. Whew. A lot of talking. Sorry, my brain's going 100 miles a minute with this willow energy, especially. Beautiful, beautiful card, right? We see a lot of that really like light blue. We have some of that green at play. Very kind of deep purpley, like kind of bluish eyes. And that shows me a compassion, right? Of grandmother willow energy here, showing a compassion, a love, a care for others, a care for you, and having everybody together, right? I think of willow trees too, and all the the leaves coming down, right? And you feel very like embraced by willow energy. It's like getting a hug. It's a way to take a breath, to take a, what's the word? The motorcyclist distracted me too. It's a way to take a pause. There we go. Take a pause, as I'm taking a pause here. Taking a pause of, and take stock of the situation, right? Resting against her trunk there, and being surrounded by all the leaves and everything. The light's not quite like filtering through in the same way. It's a little bit darker, a little bit cozier, and really connecting with that energy of self and going deeper down. The interconnectedness is the big part here, right? That is our key word for this card. And I want to read the quotes that they have in the book here for this card. It says, "I'll tell you what hermits realize. If you go off into a far, far forest and yet very quiet and get very quiet, you'll come to understand that you're connected with everything." And it's a quote from Alan Watts. Willow energy also talks about us being flexible. Again, with that interconnectedness, right? We're looking at our relationships with others. We're looking at what we need to do in order to get along with others, in order to be responsible to others, right? And maybe a family situation, a relationship, to our children. There is a responsibility there, as we have an interconnectedness in culture and in our societies and with our families and different dynamics that we enter into, right? You can't have everything one-sided. You have to, if you're in a friendship, it needs to be an equal give and take, right? You need to give as much as you're taking. And this is how we are interconnected and keep things balanced. So willow energy is also asking us with that flexibility, right? Talking about being like basket weaving and connection with that water energy that allows for this flexibility in this energy, in this plant specifically, in this tree. That water, that bendiness, that flexibility in our life and who we are and what we need to offer to others and give to others is really, really important. So take a look, again, taking stock of the situation. Where do you maybe need to bend? Maybe where do you need to be a little bit more flexible? Where are you maybe not honoring your commitments to others, that you're not holding up your end of the deal for this interconnectedness? Or maybe somebody's not doing the same for you, right? It can be hard to bring these things into balance if people are not on the same page for the being connected and us working all together. We are all in this crazy game of life together. And willow energy connects us all to that and asks us to really take a deeper look at everything. So let me take a breath here and let me double check in the book, see if I missed anything important here, if there's anything that I want to touch on a little bit more. Just some final thoughts for this group here. For willow energy, and again, that staying flexible and really taking stock of ourselves and who we are. This opens us up, if we're in this interconnection energy of willow, it opens us up to better, deeper understandings of self and others, and gives us more compassion and understanding, right? We come back around to willow energy being able to help with pain and relieve suffering, right? So by having a deeper understanding, connecting with this interconnectedness, knowing we are all one, that we are all part of the same planets, same species, part of nature and everything, we can relieve a lot of suffering that comes from being so stuck in our individual mindsets. realizing that we're all connected, that we're all going through the same things together, and opening ourselves up to more compassion and therefore more understanding. And then that relieves a lot of suffering as well. So group number 1, I hope this is helpful. This is very good spirit advice, some that I need to take myself potentially here. So hopefully with Willow energy here, you got some understanding and some deeper appreciation. Take a look at where you need more interconnection in your life and where you maybe have some pain points, and apply this Willow energy there so you can relieve yourself of that. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Please come back to this video at any time, or others in the series, whether it's this Plant Kingdom series or the Animal series, when you needed more advice from all these great archetypes, all these great energies that we have available around us all the time, surrounding us always. So have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Hello, group number 2, the Hops group, Celebration Energy. So hops is one of our flowers here, as we can see from our symbol in the bottom. And our flower energy is, I think, summer energy. Let's see. Yep, summer energy. So hops with celebration, it is kind of what you think off the bat, right? We think of hops and you immediately think of, in my case, I immediately think of beer and brewing beer, and that process of using hops to give beer a certain taste, a certain flavor, right? I think it's hops that help give beer that like bitterness, and hops have been used throughout the centuries to help with the brewing fermented drinks. We think of, especially in the West, for hops in association with beer, and beer being associated with like getting drunk, inebriation, partying, but that's not too far off this card, right? Celebration energy. So when you're thinking of beer, you're thinking of celebrating having a party. It's having like that football game. You're going out with friends to celebrate, grab a beer after work during like happy hour, that kind of energy, right? But also with hops and those drinks, those like fermented drinks, those are also very important for health overall in the long run, right? You think more along the lines of like something like kombucha, or there's fermented foods, right, that are very, very helpful for our digestion, our gut health, and different aspects of our nutritional needs. And hops does that fermentation, is part of that process and aids for a specific part of our health in this case. Not saying that you should drink beer to stay healthy by any means, no, but just the idea of fermentation and hops being part of that energy is an important one, and our gut health is very important to our overall health and to our mental emotional state as well, and which comes back around to celebration energy. With hops here showing up in terms of spiritual advice that you might be looking for in regards to your question here, group number 2, could be taking the time to celebrate something. It could be making sure that you are seeing the positive aspects of life. Taking the time to celebrate your victories, taking the time to look at what has been going on in your life and seeing how far you've come, taking that look back and seeing how far you've come from the start of the trail, right? Maybe you're not quite to the finish line yet, but you're way further along than you think you are, and you need to celebrate those victories, right? The celebration here is important, and taking the time out, the time to breathe and recalibrate too, right? Celebration energy is, in this case for hops, also time for like relaxation, right? You think of like after work and like having a beer on the couch, potentially on like it's a Friday night after you finished a tough work week, and just having that time to like decompress and take a breather, relax a little bit as you recalibrate for over the weekend and starting again for next week. However that may look for you, right? Here, get the camera. I accidentally hit it with my foot here. The celebration energy of hops here as well, group number 2, is to like take a second and look at your life and find more of this energy potentially as well, right? Maybe you've been stuck in the rut for a really long time. Maybe you've been feeling very down, not like in the best energy, not in the best mindset. So you need to find things to celebrate, right? It's an energy of gratitude, of cultivating gratitude, and also fun and play and relaxation. With the celebration energy of hops here, right? Like finding those things that light us up. It's a very light and happy card, right? We see this like yellow through, and it feels just like light, like sun, like mini sunlight almost in this card. And the whole card itself is very, very bright and happy. So finding those things that make you feel that way, I think is going to be very, very important in terms of advice for you here, group number 2, for whatever question you may be asking. Hops energy to me feels fun and light. We definitely need a lot more lightness right now, depending on the time and space you're watching this video. Things can be really, really tough right now. So it's asking you to find these tiny moments, right? These tiny little bits of sunshine, these tiny little plants here, and connecting with that energy. It's much more of a light, more like feminine energy as a whole, more of that relaxation, that contemplation, that's like deeper, cool, calm, kind of collected energy, right? It's not an energy of activeness, of forward movement. It's just taking the time to take a breath here is what it really, really feels like. There's almost like what looks like bubbles along the outside of this card as well, which I think is kind of cool. So that reminds me of the breath here. It reminds me of also light and very airy energy. So with hops and celebration here, group number 2, whatever question you may be asking, I think it's really important to see where you can add some lightness, some brevity to your situation, to your energy, to bring back some fun and peace. It feels like bringing like peace back to your life and everything. It can't stay that way forever. Of course, that is not how life works. That we have our ups and downs and positives and negatives, that life is all about those contrasts and those opposites. But maybe we've been too far in one regard and the negative for too long. So we need to bring some of that positivity back in whatever way you can manage it. Not saying to go out and get drunk and party or anything like that, but it is an energy of celebration. So going out and hanging out with some friends, going out and dancing, or going to a park or the aquarium, whatever little thing like that. Maybe you're reconnecting, like I was saying earlier, with that hobby. So again, dancing, for example, that's a hobby of mine, a personal hobby of mine. So going out to for using myself, for example, me going out to my dance class every week, and there I see my friends and I get to go out and celebrate with them. Maybe after we go out and get dinner. That's this hops energy here. Connecting with a thing that lights you up, and connecting with people that light you up, and a situation that lights you up, that brings this joy and celebration energy, and taking that downtime at the same time, where we can we're go for so long, doing so much all the time, constant work, constant this, constant that. We got to go run this place, go do this thing, run that errand, get that thing done, whatever it is. But we need to take time, we need to take a breath, we need to take a step back and just celebrate that we are alive, that we have all this abundance, that we have all these things. We have maybe a roof over our head, we have a car to drive, we have a beautiful family, we have great friendships, a great relationship. Find those things to have that gratitude about, to celebrate here with the celebration energy, and you can keep that energy moving forward. Okay, so let me double check here in the book if there's anything else I missed for hops, but I do want to read the quote that comes with each of these cards here. So the quote here says, "Rest is not idleness, and to lie sometimes on the grass on a summer day, listening to the murmur of water or watching the clouds float across the sky is hardly a waste of time." And that is a quote from Sir John Lubbock. So I think that kind of sums it up really, really well, right? Rest is not a waste of time. Taking a breather, taking that time to celebrate your victories and celebrating with those you love is not a waste of time. It is not a lack of progress. Rest is needed in order to keep making progress. It is a vital part of the system. It is a vital part of making sure that we can keep moving, keep progressing, right? We need to have sleep in order to heal our bodies. We need to eat good food and make sure we're fueled well and everything. These other small things. We need this fun. We need this play. We need this happy, joyful energy in order to keep life worth living in the long run, okay? So keep that energy in mind here, group number 2 for hops and celebration energy. Where can you take a break? Where can you take a breather? Where can you find some time for friends and family and other loved ones and celebrate the good times? Where can you have a party, a barbecue? Where can you go out for a quick bite to eat? Drinks after work, whatever it may be, and nurturing those friendships, those relationships, your community is going to go a long way in keeping you happy in the long run and using the celebration energy here, okay? So group number 2, that is all I have for you for this reading. Feel free to come back to it at any time. Maybe then you'll have a different group that you'll end up picking. Feel free to look at any of the videos in the series, the Plant Kingdom and the Animal Kingdom, both for whenever you might need some more advice. But that is all I have for you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are in space and time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hello, group number 3, my Maple Abundance group. So when we think of maple here, first thing that kind of comes to mind is maple syrup, right? And that does tie in here with our abundance card. Our maple energy, for those that are asking for spirit advice from this tree here in regards to whatever question you may be, there is an abundance in your life. You may not be seeing it clearly, but there is abundance all around you and abundance provided to you, right? So when you come to when you're coming to like maple syrup, for example, here, right? It comes from this tree and it provides abundance of nutrients. Actually, it's a natural sugar. It's a way to add flavor and sweetness to things, and it provides a lot of energy and calories, right? And that shows the abundance that is being offered to us in the situation with the maple energy. When I think of maple energy too, the change of colors, the trees, they're very, very distinct, right? You can see the maple leaf looks very, very different compared to a lot of other leaves I've seen, and the color changes that you see. Maple, there is, of course, a very, very well known in on the North American continent, maple flag, like the maple leaf on the Canadian flag are the words I wanted there. So it's a very well-known tree throughout the North Americas, but it is present all over the world as well. And I think that also goes to show this abundance is everywhere and all around us all the time. With maple energy here, let me think. There was a quote from the book. All of them have their little quotes that they come with, and the maples was a pretty common one I've heard, actually. It says, "What you seek is seeking you," and that's a Rumi quote. And looking at maple as a tree as well, it is a tree that provides us, honestly, a lot of itself to us. It provides a lot to us. We make furniture and different wood products out of maple wood. That is a very common one. We see it again in I'm just thinking randomly, make maple wood smoked bacon. Maybe that's relevant to somebody, but that maple energy being present throughout throughout various areas of our life in different ways, in different aspects, and a very relevant part of our seasons and providing for us all year round in various ways, right? And that's also abundance energy. So when we're talking about abundance here, it's not just material abundance that we might be working with. It could be abundance of energy, abundance of positivity, of people, positive people in our lives, positive aspects. There's so much more energy to abundance and what can be abundant for us. So looking at maple energy here with abundance, there might be a call to look at what abundance you do have in your life. There is an element of gratitude that comes with abundance and generating abundance, manifesting more abundance. We really want to have gratitude for what we already have, so then we open ourselves up to more to come as well. And with it being a tree energy here, right, it can be very, very stable energy. But with trees as well, they take much longer to grow than, say, one of the herbs or flowers or roots that we see. We don't see a lot coming from the top, but there's a lot growing underneath, right? Versus a tree here, it has to grow big roots. It has to grow really, really big and strong over time. But we think of maple woods and that like a hardy tree at the end of the day too. It provides a lot of energy and abundance in itself as a plant, as its own plant, and then that energy is also the same for how it grows out in the world, right? Abundance energy, sometimes it's very quick and easy to get. It's that like sugar hit you get from maple syrup, but on the other side, it could be building that piece of furniture, right, that's going to last for generations on generations, because it's built and well made, and it's built from a solid, sturdy foundation here. What else am I feeling for maple? I'm loving the eyes in this tree, right? They're very, very green. There's a lot of green in this card. Not all the trees have this coloring to them. The other tree that's in this chapter reading specifically has a lot of blue energy, but that's connected. The willow tree is connected with more with water. This one, again, very, very stable, right? This one is connected a lot more with the earth energy, the grounding energy, and even some of this orange here we're seeing at the top, right? The colors that it changes during the fall season. That is energy where and our orange is more of our creativity. It is more of our deeper, I'm thinking like connection with the sacral chakra specifically in this case, which is our creative source. But very, very special energy. And in terms of spirit advice, finding that abundance in our various places. It might be in a spot hidden you might not see, right? You wouldn't think of like maplewood furniture being something that's just generating abundance or that is abundant for you. But again, something that's long lasting, something that will last a long time, that will withstand the test of time. We are building things in abundance that are going to have some longevity to them, that are going to be around for a really long time and keep generating abundance for us over and over and over again here. Very, very a different kind of abundance. And maybe you need to do some research into what else is made of maple. I know there's like some instruments that are made out of maple wood. Going back to like maple syrup, right? Since it's coming specifically from the tree, besides it having like a lot of calories, it has like some vitamins to it and everything, providing abundance to our bodies, nutrition to our bodies in that regard. And then with maple energy here, right? The seeds that I've seen and that the book was talking about are the ones that have like those little like wings on it. So like the seeds like in this part here, and then it has like a wing, and so when you toss them up in the air, they like whirl down in a circle, right? And showing the distance, and those kind of remind me of, it's like fireworks and like blowing like dandelion wishes to the wind almost, right? So there's an abundance of energy there. The abundance can spread very, very far and wide from maple because of the way that it structures its seeds. So it can catch the wind, it can spread further, it can go further. And again, that's that maple energy having more longevity to it, like I was talking about, that it's an energy that connects heavily with our earth energy, but it can spread on the ground through the air, so it can like be carried on the air a little bit more, and that gives us more creativity energy here as well with our orange color I was talking about in terms of sacral like chakra energy. That spread, that movement, and then we use maple for various like drinks and beverages and treats and things that make us happy, right? Things that provide us joy and excitement and happiness. And that's this abundance energy here too, right? Energy of celebration. We're bringing in energy of celebration, and it's not necessarily like the card before this, which is the celebration card, which is hops, but it does have an element of that energy to it as well, which I think is interesting. All these plants, all these things tie in together in some aspect because it's all interconnected at the end of the day. And that's the first card in this chapter as well, which is the willow. So we have this very strong tree that wants to offer you advice today, that if your life is full of abundance, even if you can't see it as easy right now, it might be in a more sneaky way. And by offering gratitude for life and what the earth has provided for you already, what you've already been blessed with, you bring more abundance into your life, and it'll keep growing and growing as time changes and time goes on, because you've built this sturdy foundation. You have been well rooted and well planted from these seeds spreading far and wide, and can grow into a very strong tall tree that will provide shade and nutrients and joy to your loved ones and others as time progresses and time goes on well into the future, okay? So group number 3, I hope that was informative to you. I hope it helped you answer your question or gave you the advice you needed for this specific situation. Feel free, if you need to come back to this reading and pick another plant if you need more advice, or the previous one in this series, or even the Animal Kingdom series. There's so much advice that you can give to yourself and so much information you can find when you need it and when the time is right. So I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are in space and time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hello, group number 4, the Colt's Foot group, and the energy of presence. So with Colt's Foot here, we have very, very strong eyes on this one, right? They're very strong, kind of looking into your soul here. And we got some yellowing flowers here. This card you see, it's part of our root set. So a lot going on underneath the ground here, right? And this card, and in the description from the Herbal Healing deck book, talks a lot about breath work, a lot about presence, right? That's our key word here. And it's interesting here because these swirls remind me of air. So the air in our lungs, being able to breathe, having breath, and being in the present moment, right? So when we're talking about presence with our Colt's Foot energy here, and in terms of spiritual advice, and maybe in regards to whatever question you're asking as you're working with this energy and working with this group, we are looking at being really present in the moment, right? There is a lot we can always worry about. There's a quote I remember, I think that came up with, I think it's quoted to Buddha potentially, where it's, can you do anything about it? Yes, then don't worry about it. If no, then don't worry about it, right? And that allows us to stay in the present moment. There is a lot where if we're too stuck in the past, that is kind of like our depressive energy. And if we're stuck in the future, then that's our anxious energy. What we really need to do is come back into the present. And that is our presence energy, right? We're talking about the same energy with presence and being present in the moment, staying present. And this is also an energy of gratitude and a specific kind of focus, right? When we're talking about presence, it is being focused in a very specific way. It's about being focused in the moment and what's happening right in front of us. And this is how we bring awareness back to self. It's how we bring awareness and bring our awareness back to center here, right? And a lot of ways that can happen, and in a lot of ways it's recommended to bring focus back to the present, is through breath work. And we see that energy, like I was saying here with this card, and it's mentioned very, very frequently in the description for this card in the guidebook. And with Colt's Foot, it's a plant actually that helps with the breath, that helps with breathing and the lungs and things like, I don't know if it specifically helps with like pneumonia, but that's just like a image, like a thought that popped in my head for like different kinds of breathing issues that might happen, right? With Colt's Foot and everything, it's like, and all these different herbs and plants and their medicinal properties and how that works in a different, like in a larger context, varies very highly, right? And that's something to maybe explore with an herbalist, somebody who has a little bit more experience in that field. But Colt's Foot does help with our lungs and does help with our breathing in that area, which makes sense with this plant, right? And that's how this all this energy connects together. And with breath work comes being focused and being present and set back in, right? Breath, the first breath we take, that's when us coming into the world. And our last breath we take is when we leave the world. So breath is in many, many cultures and spiritual ideologies is considered the spirit, right? So if our breath isn't under control, if our breathing isn't centered and processed, and we're not present in our body, then our spirit is kind of wandering around every which way, right? So it's really important here in terms of your spiritual advice group number 4, for those that picked this group and are trying to get an answer to your question. It's important to come back to self, right? To take a deep breath. Actually, let's do that right now, okay? So let's breathe in. Hold and breathe out. Whew. Even just doing just one deep breath, right? It just brings a peace and a calm back to the body. And there is a lot of healing that comes with breath work, right? You will see breath work talked about frequently in yoga. It's very important when we're exercising to get that breath in at the right time. There's like deep breathing, healing exercises that you can find in different modalities and different spiritual religions and different things. Breath work is very, very important because it's the center of all this energy. It's the center of the spirit here, right? And I think it's important for you here, group number 4, those that have chosen this group, to focus back on your breath, back on yourself, and come back to the present moment and really just focus in, right? We're talking about being present in this moment in time, right? So really sitting here, if listening to my words, feeling the feelings in your body, feeling what's going on, feeling the breath move in and out of your body, moving in and out of your lungs, and being present in yourself and in all the things that are happening right now in this present moment, right? Not thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow, not thinking about what happened in the past, just thinking about right now, being present in the moment right now, and even being able to let go of thought to some extent, right? This is where we come into that focus energy and kind of that meditative energy that's really, really important. And being able to center ourselves, and with that comes a lot of healing, right? With being present in the moment, being really present with our breath, that brings a lot of healing to the body, bringing a lot of healing to the self and to the situation at hand, right? You always hear, even when you're like young, before, like when you're angry, right, or whatever, to just take a breath, to just step back for a second and take a breath, to step away from the situation, right? Because that allows the built up energy, right? This like friction, tense energy, taking a step back and just breathing allows it to release. And I think that's very, very important here for your energy and what you're asking about for your potential spirit advice here, group number 4. And with it, I'm like, I need to take a breath because I feel like I'm just like talking, right? But that's also an important aspect here, right? We use the breath, we use our breath to speak, to put things out into the world, to give energy out into the world, speak things into existence, right? We need breath in order to fuel and oxygenate our body in order to do the actions required of us in a given day. It all comes back to breath at the end of the day, and it all comes back to presence at the end of the day. Being present in the moment, right? It's called the present because it's a gift, right? There's so many funny like little quotes that are coming up with this energy here. But let me read you the quote that this card has from its book, okay? I've been reading them for all the groups and I think they're important. So this says, as soon as you honor the present moment, all unhappiness and struggle dissolve and life begins to flow with joy and ease. And that is an Eckhart Tolle quote. With us being present in the moment here, group number 4, my Cole's Foot group, being present in the moment allows for a very radical and very intense kind of gratitude, right? It allows us to be very present, like we're saying here, and being involved in the outcomes and being able to celebrate our wins, feel our emotions when things are really sad or when we're really, really angry. And with that, being able to breathe through those moments and really feel those feelings and what's happening with us allows us to keep ourselves healthy and allows us to have gratitude for the situation and know that we're alive, right? Being able to take a step back and analyze the situation and having that element of gratitude really also allows us to be in the present moment here. Being like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. My life is so amazing for this. Even just like a tiny thing, right? Where it's like, oh, that bird is so cute. My life is so amazing. Or, oh, that conversation went really, really well. I'm so grateful. Like being able to, in the moment as we're feeling it and cultivating that awareness, cultivating that presence allows us to experience more joy and more abundance and more creation and more interconnectedness. And as I'm talking through all the groups here, I'm really realizing the story that is being crafted through all the cards that decided to come out for this chapter 2 reading, right? As I'm going through each group and I'm talking, and I'm like, oh, I'm realizing I'm talking about interconnectedness, which was group number 1, and I'm talking about abundance now, which was group number 3, and group number 2 was celebration, and we're talking about that energy as well, which it all makes sense at the end of the day, right? These are all these same kind of spiritual lessons and same advice that we're given, but it's nuanced in a specific way. So finally here for you, group number 4 with presence, be in this moment. Be in this moment in time. Feel what you're feeling. Feel the experiences of your body. Cultivate that gratitude and staying in the present moment, and work with your breath in order to really feel alive, right? Feel your spirit, feel the energy in your body here. And I think that will allow your situation to change and dissipate and move and bring new energy and new life into the situation, okay? So group number 4, I hope that helped you. Feel free to come back to this video when you need to pick a different group for maybe new advice you might need for that day. You can go to the chapter 1 video, or you can go to the Animal Kingdom videos. There's lots of advice and different ways to get some knowledge to help you for your situation. But I hope this was helpful for you today. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are in space and time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hello, group number 5. This is the violet group, and the keyword here being introspection. So violet is a very interesting little plant, a little flower here. It generally stays really close to the ground, very like shallow plant as a whole, right? So it stays really close to the ground. It keeps its flowers are very small. The whole plant as it's on a whole is very smart. Smart, wrong word. It is a smart plant. We'll get to that in a second. But very small. And what the book describes it as is it's actually a very shy plant too. And that makes sense here with our introspection energy. So coming into this group here, number 5, and what you may be asking for advice from our spirit advice, our plant kingdom here. Maybe you're wondering on what to do for the situation you're in. Maybe you're wondering what the best course of action is right now for your given situation. And with the violet here coming in as your group that you picked here, the answer is to lay low, to be calm and quiet and pull back a little bit, where you want to be in this energy of introspection, because we want to take the time to make sure that we're making the right choices at the right time and for the right reasons here. So the way the book talks about the violet flower here is that usually our flowering body on whatever plant we are looking at, or like the fruiting body, is what has the seeds in it. However, these purple flowers that the violet puts out first are not where the actual seeds are. Apparently, according to the book, and what the violet plant does is that it puts out flowers twice. It puts out these little purple flowers first, and those are the ones that usually get picked by us human beings, and then it'll put out these little green flowers later, and that actually is what has the seeds, and therefore how it continues to propagate itself and spread and grow over time, how it reproduces. So what this tells us energy wise here for you, group number 5, with our violet plant, is to maybe we need to keep some things quiet, right? Maybe we are working on a big project and we don't want to share the pieces of it right now, because that leads to a vulnerability, and that unless it's somebody you really trust, like, in your heart of hearts and everything, right? But that's part of this introspection as well. So of course, share with friends and family and loved ones that you do completely utterly trust, right? But maybe you share with coworkers that maybe don't need to know about some of your personal life things, or a boss. Maybe we just need to take a little bit longer in this introspection energy and be a little bit more discerning in what we share, and so we don't have vulnerabilities that people with less than good intentions can take advantage of in this situation. Just take a drink of my water here for a second. My liquid here is actually kind of like a purpley color, kind of hard to see, but I just felt it with the violet energy. So with this card, right, we see all these kind of different purples, but the card as a whole is very, very muted too. And that's kind of the energy we want. There's a time and place to have that more extroverted, more outgoing, showing off and celebrating what's going on. And then there's time for introspection and quietness, meditativeness, reflective, and we need that contrast, right? We need that contrast in order for things to progress in a way that is healthy, and having that time to rest and recuperate and be a little bit more introspective allows us to progress further in the long run, right? It's only by being in a more introspective space, taking the time to be quiet and letting our inner voice come out and not being surrounded by all the loudness of the world, finding some quiet time, some quiet space to truly hear what's going on inside, that we can actually progress forward and make the right moves, and maybe make a decision that is a little different than what we were originally planning. Because with this introspection energy of Violet, we're like, oh, nope, that's the better plan. That's the better idea. I'm not going to talk about this specific part of my project or my life because it's something I need to keep close to the chest. I need to keep safe right now because it's vulnerable, right? If you hear the wrong thing potentially at the wrong time, it's going to knock down your self-confidence and maybe you won't finish, right? I'm kind of doing that a little bit right now myself, where it's like, okay, I have this thing I'm working on, but I'm just going to keep working on it in the quiet, in the background and stuff. And once it's progressed to a point where I feel really, really confident in it, and I know I'm not going to be knocked down in it, then I'm going to share it, right? And that's not a fault of anybody. That is not a slight against anybody. And same thing for you in your situation, but you just need to take care of yourself, right? It's up to you to keep yourself safe and to keep yourself from harm, and to make sure that what you're trying to accomplish can be accomplished. And we do that by really focusing in with this introspection energy, right? Taking that time to take a deep breath and relax, and maybe do some yoga, maybe do some meditation, do some reflective exercises, right? Journaling here could be very, very important for you. So maybe talking with a trusted friend and being able to look back over a situation that's been happening that you have some confusion about potentially, that you've been re-exploring, right? Something like therapy, right? You're rehashing things that happened in your past or things that happened with a family member in a relationship, and trying to observe and go deep inside and figure out what those repeating patterns are. Where do you have blockages in abundance, in self-esteem, in whatever the situation may be here that you're asking about group number 5 and wanting to get advice about. Violet energy here is giving you advice to go deeper inside, to be very introspective, look at your internal world and analyze it from a new angle, and get like really, really low to the ground, get like really in the dirt, in the mud, get close to the ground here, because that's what the violet energy is at, right? That it's a really shallow flower close to the ground. And it does this in order to stay very grounded and to kind of keep itself hidden, because it's still a shy energy at the end of the day. So a very interesting flower, and I've liked when it's shown up a couple different times in readings for myself and at various aspects of my life. And those have been times where I need to be a little bit more discerning. So to finish up here, group number 5, for Violet, all of these different cards have a quote that is in the description with them, so I want to read out yours now. It says, "Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." And it's a Carl Jung quote. So I think for you, group number 5, it's a time right now where you need to be just a little bit pulled back, a little bit more reserved, and take the time to focus on yourself, focus on what you're trying to accomplish, focus on your goals, and work towards those in a quiet manner, and be discerning with who you share things with right now. People that are going to hype you up and give you encouragement, or maybe you don't feel the need to share with anybody at all right now. That's perfectly okay. It's perfectly okay to work in silence and without any outside interference as much as possible, and if that's going to allow you to accomplish what you need to, right? We have the flashy thing over here, the flowers that are getting seen and perceived. You offer up some other information about yourself, but it's not the main thing, right? And then we secretly, a little bit later, after these purple flowers have been picked, we offer up we actually have the thing that's going to grow and manifest and become the creation here, right? Later with these green flowers and this violet energy and this introspection. So a very, very unique energy. In terms of spirit advice, just look at that introspection piece, really, really heavily go deep down, figure out what you need to do, what makes the most sense in this situation, how to take care of yourself, and what you need to offer the world at this time. Maybe it's not a lot, maybe you need to keep things close to the chest, and then at the right time later on down the road, you can offer up this full completed project or this full completed energy that wants to be burst through you, okay? So group number 5, that is all I have for you. I hope this was helpful for you. Feel free to come back to this reading at any time, or the previous video, chapter 1, or even the Animal Kingdom video series. There is so much spirit advice for you at any time. If you have a different question, you can connect with a different animal or a different plant and get some new advice for yourself at that point. That'll be helpful for your journey. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are in space and time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hello, group number 6. So this is the nettle group, and with our keyword of receiving. So good close-up look at this one. Nettle is a interesting one. I've received this card a couple times through various readings, and it's a very interesting energy to receive and look at and understand the message of. For those of you that might not have encountered nettle at any point in your life, it's actually a unpleasant plant sometimes to come into contact with. You can actually kind of see it on this card a little bit, the edging of the leaves here. If it focuses, there we go. They're very sharp and pointy, and actually have a they are very like itchy and trying to touch the plant. If you touch the plant the wrong way and everything, it actually kind of like stings. It's not like super painful by any means, but it's not pleasant either. So nettle's an interesting plant here to come into contact with, for it to come up in terms of spirit advice, and for those of you that picked this group, because the energy is one of paying attention and focusing about what you are receiving here, right? The plant itself is actually very, very nutritious. It can be used in many different dishes, actually, and I've seen it used in various like high culinary dishes randomly. And once it's cooked, or like I think it's like steamed, that stinginess goes away, and then those like leaves can be used and add a lot of nutrition to the meal, and they help with various aspects of the body. The book itself talks about the connection to our water like pathways in the body, so like the blood and the urinary tract, and then with this plant specifically too, being able to help with like tightness, like arthritis, for example, it gives in the book, because that stinginess brings sensation back to the fingers and areas of the body that have some of that like arthritic nature to them. So very interesting plant in terms of like actual like herbalism, actual healing, but we're talking more on the spirit level here. We're talking about spirit advice. So with nettle here, its keyword is receiving, and when we look at that word in terms of this plant, it's asking us to be focused in about what we actually have right in front of us here, right? So we take this plant, and it has, if we're not careful with how we're touching it, it can sting us and hurt us. But it's talking about, the book talks about like very like professional, like well-skilled herbalists, and those that pick this plant can pick it without actually being stung at all, and therefore can use the plants for the various means and the various benefits that it can give us. And nettle talks about receiving all those benefits, looking at life and what's happening around us and what we can be grateful for already, what we've already received in our life, what we are receiving, how our cup is being filled up by others. Maybe right now, in terms of spirit advice for whatever question you're asking, whatever situation you're getting advice on, you have a lack of awareness for the people that are trying to spend time with you, maybe that are trying to put more energy into you, put energy into your cup, right? Feed your cup, because you are distracted by other things right now. And that's where this like focus comes back into play with this nettle energy. It feels like a energy cultivating gratitude, right? The word cultivation comes up with all these readings, especially the plant kingdom, because they are plants. They have that tie to herbalism and herbal healing, and we use plants so many ways in our lives. There are various plants, and that's why the fields of like botany and like plant biology exist, because we do use those plants, and their historic uses for medicinal purposes are what we can use and concentrate down. I think it's willow. There's a certain plant or whatever that we've like distilled down, and that's what we make aspirin out of, if I'm remembering correctly. Not this plant specifically, but just to give an example for the energy that comes from these that we can use to take care of ourselves better, to offer healing to ourselves and bring about positive energy and positive change. So nettle specifically here is asking you to take a step back, take a breath, calm down. I'm not going to say like you need to calm down depending on what the situation is, but this is the energy to like just to pull back for a second here, right? And be very, very focused about what we're trying to do, what you're trying to accomplish. Be very, very focused and deliberate, and then look at what you already have, right? Maybe it's a question of not knowing if you have enough abundance or enough energy, enough means to take care of a specific situation, but nettle's coming in to tell us you do have that. You just need to receive it. You need to be open to it coming to you. You need to be willing to ask for help and then receive that help, right? If you're talking about, oh, I'm so stressed, I can't get this done, or I can't keep my house clean, right? And your best friend offers to come over and clean your house, you need to accept that. You need to receive that energy, because other people in your life that care about you, that are in a relationship with you, that whether it's a family or a friend, a significant other, they want to help you, and you need to be open to receiving it. And right now we are not being open to receiving it. We're in a rush. We are moving hastily, and that's when we get stung by this nettle energy. And it doesn't do it in it's not in a super, super mean, painful way, right? It's not out to harm us. It's out to like shock us and like snap us back out of it, right? Where it's like once it's like, it stings a little bit, but in my experience with nettle, it's like, it's not fun to touch, but it does go away. And once it's like you're not around it, it's like if you don't keep touching the plant and it keep hurting you, then it stops after that point, right? It's just in that moment of haste, in that moment of rush, that we end up getting stung, and it's just kind of like a little shock back, where it's like, okay, move back, calm down. Sorry to use that wording again, but it's kind of what wants to come out with this energy here, where it's like, okay, we need to be in a more calm space. We need to act more deliberately. We need to go about things in a gentler approach, and being open to receiving all the gifts that the universe and other loved ones around us want to offer to us here, okay? Yeah. Okay, now let's take a look. All of the different cards have in their description here, they have a quote that comes with that I've been reading for every group. So let me read you for nettles here. So for nettle receiving, the quote says, "After all, you must have the capacity to receive, or even omnipotence can't give." C.S. Lewis. That's really good. I like that. So nettle here for you, group number 6, is asking you, where can you be a little bit more faithful to? Where can you put a little bit more faith in the universe giving you what you need? God, whoever, whatever religion, spirituality you connect with. Where can you be open to receiving more? Where can you create space for new things to come into your life, right? So maybe it's a matter of cleaning your house, getting new clothes, but in order to get new clothes, right, or you have to get rid of the old ones, so you have to clean out your closet in order to make space for those new things to come in. So where is there a space here that you can cleanse, that you can open up, so that way you have the space to receive these new things that want to come to you? Okay, group number 6, there's a lot that the universe wants to give you, that this nettle energy is telling you that is available to you, but you have to go through that kind of uncomfortableness too, right? We have to clean out that closet, which is not something fun we want to do. It's not painful. It doesn't hurt, potentially, most likely, but it's not fun. It's something that's annoying, and that's going to take some time. But if we're working with deliberate focus, then we get that all done, and we get those clothes in the bag to donate or to go wherever they need to go. And then we all of a sudden have space for these new things. We have space to receive. We have space to bring in new energy into our life because we're acting in a deliberate manner and sitting with that uncomfortableness for the little bit of time it lasts. And once we are moving deliberately and calmly, we can avoid that annoyance altogether even. So group number 6, I hope this was helpful to you. Feel free to come back to this video at any point. There are 7 other groups to choose from. Maybe you have a different question that you want advice on. You can also go to the previous video for chapter 1 for the Plant Kingdom series, or you can go to the Animal Kingdom series videos, and there's a ton of advice there for you as well. For whatever question you may have, just a quick little guidance for the situation at hand that you can ask about and receive some information for. So I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are in space and time, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Hello, group number 7, my Wormwood mystery group. So it's funny to me, I didn't realize until I was thinking about what number group you were, and I was like, oh, 7. The number of magic is for our Wormwood mystery group here. So even by just looking at the card here, right, we have a highly spiritual, highly psychic magic card. You can see it in the eyes, especially that like very deep purple. Ignore the camera that we see reflected in there, but there we go. The eyes are very, very like a deep purpley pink. We've got like this kind of like magic around, and this kind of like psychic energy shooting up and out of the plant. Very, very strong energy here with Wormwood. And it's a card that's I think I've only gotten once in all the times I've used this deck, and all the times I've asked questions of this deck. I think this card's only shown up like once or twice for me. So it's an interesting card. It is very mysterious itself. The energy of Wormwood, the plant, is very mysterious, and its uses and what it does for us. So with this energy coming in and what you may be asking advice for in terms of spiritual advice about your situation or question, there is maybe a mystery that you're wondering about that is you're trying to gain clarity on, or there is something hidden from you. And this card does not offer a solution for that necessarily. It does not reveal what is hidden, but it is acknowledging the mystery that is present here. The wormwood plant and stuff has been used medicinally for digestion, I believe, in a lot of ways, but it's also created, I think, absinthe, and kind of been used in ways, it's like, I think it's toxic in a certain doses and certain amounts, so not meant like, go to an herbalist if you're interested in this plant in terms of medicinal uses, but it's not one I would recommend either. There are many ways to connect with wormwood energy that does involve consuming it internally or even using it externally. I'm not an herbalist. I'm not in that field as much. I have some basic knowledge, but wormwood is not one I have a lot of knowledge about. But connecting with this energy, right? So we think of like absinthe and we think of that kind of inebriation. We think of hallucinations and toxicity and some of these plants that have these capabilities, right? And that brings a lot of mystery here, right? Being connected to these other realms, these other places is a mystery itself, and how this plant energy goes about connecting with that is also a mystery itself as well. The energy here from wormwood feels like fun almost at the same time. It's mischievous, I think is the word I want, because we have this mystery here. So it feels like the energy, it's like, it's almost happy that it is mysterious, that it's not showing its hand, it's not showing all the cards at once. And what that means in terms for you for spirit advice here, group number 7, is to accept things as they are right now, accept things that we can't know everything, right? Some things are always going to remain a mystery. We can't know the inside of somebody's mind and their motivations and reasons for what they did. We can't know certain mysteries of life, for example. We can make our guesses, we have our resources available for what other people think, but we can't know some things for certain. And that energy here is accepting that and even playing with it a little bit. It entices our curiosity. It makes us want to explore more. And maybe you don't find the answer you were looking for, but you find something else that is still helpful for you. Let me take a look in the book here for you, group number 7. There's a lot of interesting energy for this one, and I want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. So it says the spirit of wormwood enhances psychic abilities. No surprise there. That kind of connects with our magic energy as well. Let's see. Yep. Telepathy, remote viewing, precognition. It energizes the mystery of life itself. I think that's a very interesting quote here from this book, and the energy of wormwood here for mystery. So it feels like whatever you're asking about, group number 7, whatever the question is or the situation you're working through, there is something here that is hidden from you that is going to remain a mystery. And it could come down the line a little bit later where the answers will be revealed. But sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes things are always going to be a mystery to us. And part of life is being able to accept that, okay? And that is maybe difficult to hear, that is difficult to come to accept, but it is a natural part of life as well. And engaging with the wormwood energy also maybe for certain people in this group, and for specific situations, connecting with this wormwood energy can help demystify some things, right? Connecting and integrating more psychic energy, more of that magic energy. Some things are mysterious because we don't have the knowledge and we don't have the experience in them. So it's asking us to maybe demystify some things by getting out and experiencing more life, right? It's only by having more knowledge and more experience that we can have a more informed and complete understanding of a given situation here. We're never going to understand everything, but that is a way to understand more about our situation and more about ourselves and learn and grow as time goes on. So for all the different groups here, there's a quote for every group, for every card in this book, and I've been reading it out for everybody. So I want to read out yours now. So for Wormwood Mystery, it says, "It is only through mystery and madness that the soul is revealed." And that is a Thomas More quote. What Wormwood is really wanting you to do here, group number 7, is to enjoy the mysteries of life and keep that curiosity sparked and engaged, and enjoy that life is a mystery, that we don't know every single thing that's going to come, that's going to happen. And I'm reminded in my culture, in Native American, I'm Sioux specifically, and we call the bigger God, the universe, the big creation energy. It translates to, I believe it's the Great Mystery, I believe is the translation into English, because it is a entity, maybe not even an entity, it's an energy that can't be understood in our human means and our human experience. And there are many, many things right, that we do not have the capability of understanding completely in our human experience. The concept of infinity and an ever-growing universe and the vast expanseness of space and time is something that is very, very difficult and will always remain a mystery to a finite human mind. That's just how it goes. That is just the way of life, the way of the universe, the rules of the universe, so to speak. So being able to sit in this energy of mystery and accepting that things are not going to be clear all the time, that things aren't going to be understood, and being able to enjoy that process and using that to learn new things and grow where you can. Because there are areas of your life where you can demystify the situation. There are areas of your life where you can connect with this wormwood energy, engage that psychic energy, and bring more knowledge and awareness to the situation so you can reveal some of those mysteries. And then you end up being the mysterious person, because it's like, how did they know that? How did they figure that out? Why do they act that way, and why do things always work out for them? Because you have this magic that you've engaged with. You have this wormwood energy that you are a part of, and that you now become part of the mysterious, part of the magic, part of the fun and mischievous energy that is here. So a very, very interesting energy group, number 7, my magic group. I love the number 7. It's my favorite, one of my favorite numbers. And connecting with this energy, my favorite color, purple, again, very psychic energy. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope this card was helpful for you. I definitely don't feel like I answered any questions, but I hope that it did offer you some clarity about whatever situation you may be asking about. If you feel the call or need to do so, you can pick another group in this reading, or you can go to the previous video, chapter 1, and there's more groups to pick from for there. You can also go to the Animal Kingdom series and pick any of those videos and any animal and get more spirit advice from each of those different videos, depending on what your question is and what you may need to know. There is so much available to you, so much information, and hopefully we can just demystify your situation in that regard. So group number 7, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are in space and time, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Hello, my final group, group number 8, the Golden Seal group, and our keyword is healing for this one. So this is one of our root cards here as well. So the medicinal properties of this plant are present in its root system. It is a plant, I guess, that is very common in the eastern United States, which makes sense because it's not a plant I have a lot of experience with, but I do not live out east, so that lines up. It says a plant that is, according to its description in the Herbal Healing Deck book, it is quintessential with the word healing. It is tied in very heavily with that energy, and it is used for lots of different needs in the body, especially with like stomach, gallbladder, kind of like liver area, like our solar plexus area. It helps in those areas a lot if it's being used medicinally in herbal by like an herbalist. With our golden seal plant here, our keyword being healing, I really like with this card how there's like a heart in the middle of this one here in the roots. With the heart, and then we see some glowing in there, and the way the like eyes are glowing too, I think is very, very interesting with this card, and I think it aids to the story it's trying to tell, right? With healing, whatever your question is or whatever you're trying to get advice on right now, group number 8, there is a focus on healing, and a focus on healing probably for ourselves, right? This is an internal heart. This is something inside of us that we need to work on healing and taking care of. It is only through taking care of ourselves that we are able to take care of others. The book mentions this as well, and I think is very, very important, and something I talk about a lot in various videos and when it comes up in readings, where we have to take care of ourselves in order to take care of others. People that have a lot of healing abilities can often burn out very fast and very easy because they are putting so much healing energy towards others and helping others and not leaving any for themselves. And it's actually only once we have our cup full, we should be pouring from a full cup. We should be using the leftover, the excess that we have in order to take care of others and not depleting ourselves in the process here. The golden seal energy is very, very important and touts this message very, very strongly here, making sure that we are healing ourselves, we are taking care of ourselves, that we are taking the time we need to relax and get some respite, have some peace, and making space and moments in time for this healing to actually take place that needs to happen, right? So for you, group number 8, what might be coming in is an opportunity to heal. Maybe somebody from your past is coming back around and you can have that conversation that you've been wanting to have for a long time that can get you some closure or some better understanding of the situation, so then you can close the situation in your mind. Or you realize that after talking to this person that you didn't need them at all, and that you've already closed out the situation. You can allow yourself to heal now because you've already been healing the whole time, right? It doesn't involve the other person at all. It could be with this situation as well. Maybe it's not somebody from your past, but it could be something, situation from your past, something triggered maybe in your generational line, generational trauma, or something from your childhood, a past relationship that is being brought up in terms of like a repeating pattern now with your new relationship. So take the time here, group number 8, for those coming in for spirit advice from Golden Seal here. Take the time to really take stock of what's going on. Do some meditation, maybe some reflection, some journaling. Now here with my final group, it's very interesting to see how all the cards tie in together very, very strongly. I'm remembering back to chapter 1 of this video series, and I don't recall the plants like tying in with each other. Like I can literally be like this card with this card and this card with this card. I'm like, feel like I'm literally saying some of the same information over again. And I don't think that happened with the first video, but it makes sense with this video. And this was a very well balanced video too, because we have 2 of each of these different suits from this deck. So I've talked about in different groups here the taking rest and receiving positive information and being present in the moment and being introspective, right? And that comes with healing here, especially for you here, group number 8. This golden seal energy is really asking you to heal something that has been hurt for a long time. Take a look and heal that thing that's been causing you pain, that's been causing you annoyance and hurt for a really long time, that you maybe haven't had the opportunity to deal with, or that you've kind of put on the back burner with dealing, or it's presenting itself now for you to take care of. With this energy of golden seal, you can bring healing to this aspect and area of your life and see great and tremendous improvements. I think that is very, very strong energy here. So I want to read the quote from this one. I've been reading the quote for every single group here. You have a very simple quote for golden seal, but it's important as well. It says, "Remember, healing is an inside job." And this is a quote from Sark's The Succulent Wild Woman. And I mean, yes, that's true at the end of the day, right? I think that's why this heart energy here was standing out to me, because it is on the inside. All this work, especially with this plant, and where the medicinal healing properties come from this plant when it's being used that way, come from the roots. It comes from deep down inside of it. It comes from that. It's like we see some of the pretty flowers on the top and everything that are showing off, but it's all the things that provide us energy, that provide us healing, that provide us growth is in this root system, in the deep downs, getting into your deep darks and getting down into your heart, your soul, right? And connecting with that energy and the healing that needs to happen there. It's with the healer energy too. This plant, in the description book, it talks about the over-harvesting of this plant and how it's a plant that actually takes a long time to be cultivated, because the medicine, the medicinal properties that come from this plant come from the mature, like several year old plants, the roots of those plants. So having the time and the energy and the resources through healing ourselves to actually be able to mature and grow and then be able to offer that healing, right? We can't come at it again from an empty cup, and we can't come at it from a maybe immature energy. Potentially we can have all the best intentions in the world, but if we don't have the resources and the knowledge and the capacity to do all those things we set out, then it's either going to not happen at all, or it can happen in a way that we didn't intend, that maybe doesn't turn out for the best, right? Good intentions but bad results. So keep that all in mind here. Group number 8, our final group here. Healing is a very complex energy at the same time. But the archetype of the healer is a common one that we see across all different cultures in all different ways. And the way we grow as healers, the way we grow and progress and get stronger, is by making sure we are strong in the first place, right? Having that strong foundation, that strong root system, and being able to take pieces of ourselves, being able to pour from our cup, but only once we have excess, right? We can't sacrifice more of ourselves. If we give all of ourselves away, then there's nothing left to give, right? Versus if we're taking care of ourselves, allowing ourselves to grow and elevate and get stronger and stronger, then we are able to help more and more people. And that is ultimately the goal, right? We want to be able to help people with this healing energy. Being a healer, we want to be able to help people, so we are able to help people to the best of our ability and help the most amount of people by taking care of ourselves and getting stronger as a healer. And we only do that through healing ourselves. So group number 8 here, very important lesson, very important energy here, and I hope this was helpful to you. So that is all I have for you today. So feel free, if you need to, if you have a different question, to pick another group in this video, or maybe in the previous video in chapter 1, or even in the previous series, the Animal Kingdom series. There's lots of different advice that you can get from various places and that wants to help you out. Animal Kingdom, Plant Kingdom, there is so much energy that wants to help you and provide you information and guidance and healing and energies. So whatever you may feel called to do so, but that is all I have for you today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are in space and time, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.